I'm recording this video in response to Anne's question on Facebook. Her daughter is 4.5. She's been toilet trained since she was 2.5, but now is regressing and is having toilet accidents at school and at other points in the day. It often happens more so if she's tired. The little girl suffers with night terrors, so she's often up in the night. And a lot of these types of behaviors are quite common with adopted children. For obvious reasons. So the thing I wanted to first address is the fact that these behaviors very often, particularly by people who may not be therapeutically trained, often these behaviors become our focus. So for example, in schools, it's common for us to recognize that the behavior has an emotional link and an emotional reason, but to still treat the behavior as if it's the thing. So we start concerning ourselves with reminding the child to go to the toilet, or in this case, it's been suggested that she wears pull-ups to school, so that the changing process becomes easier, particularly now because of COVID restrictions, and that the teachers can't be near her in the way that they might otherwise have done before. And that's all normal, but kind of unproductive, because a child who knows how to go to the toilet and can do so independently, who then regresses, has a different reason for doing that. And although most of us are aware of the fact that there's an emotional link, we don't necessarily address the emotional link, we still address the behavior in the hope that somehow the emotional thing will resolve itself. But what I have found with my children and from my experience is that the keys to these types of situations very often lie with giving the child the tools he or she needs to be able to either gain an insight into what's happening and be able to draw themselves out of it, or be able to express what they need to another adult. And often, we do this with grown-ups. We would say, if you need anything, you come and tell me. We say it to our friends, if you need anything, give me a call. I'm here. We do it with kids. If you need the toilet, tell me, and you can go. But the thing is that's not the thing. So if you've experienced that yourself, if you've ever been depressed or anxious and someone's like, I'm here for you if you need anything, do you take the offer? Do you express your need? Most of us don't, because it's not actually that simple. So the key in these sorts of situations, I find, is to give the child as straight a line as possible between where they are now and how worried they are, or scared, or freaked out, or whatever it is, and finding something inside themselves that helps them, or finding the ability to express to a safe adult. And one of the best tools I have found for this is called the hand model of the brain. It's from Dr. Dan Siegel. And the way you look at it, and you can explain this to a child, is if we make a fist like this. So this is your hand model. So inside here, this part is the emotional center of the brain. So if you imagine this is your spine here, your spinal cord, and this is the base of the brain. This is where the emotional centers of the brain are. And then we have this bit tucked in here, and this around the front here is your prefrontal cortex. This is where you can do all of your creative, problem-solving, logical thinking. So when the brain is in a kind of safe state, all of these pieces are connected and they work really well together. They communicate really well together and they can talk to each other. And what Dan Siegel says is that when the emotional alarm goes off, you flip your lid. So this bit goes offline. The bit of you that can think clearly and can decide isn't connected anymore. These two are not talking to each other. This bit's going haywire and this bit's gone. So the thing I loved about the way he explained it is, for kids, we need to figure out how to give our brain a hug. So what is it that you need so that you can feel safe and you can give your brain a hug? And when you explain it, you can use your voice and you can use the imagery to help the child understand. And this is a very nice way then for kids to be able to explain where they are. So you can say to them, where's your brain now? And if they're like this, what they're telling you is everything's good. And if they show you this, I'm gone. I'm gone. Nothing's going. So for this little girl, potentially this is a way that she and her teachers could have the language that she needs to express without any words whatsoever, to be able to show them, and then they know. If they can talk to her about what it is that needs to happen in that time, it may be that she needs to go to the toilet, but maybe something else has to happen first so that she can go on her own. Because what if getting up from the desk and going to the toilets by herself is actually what the issue is? So it's not that she forgets, it's not that something else, we don't know what the issue is, we don't know why she's not going. And maybe she doesn't either, but if she has that sense to know, this is what's happening, and she can say that to somebody else, she has the tools to express. Then on the other side, if it's a case of being able to figure it out for herself, now she's only 4.5, so it's still very young, but even at that age, I mean, my son's 5 now, and he will talk to me about these things, and he'll say, my brain is saying to do this. And I'm like, okay, and what will happen if you do that? Well, I probably won't feel very nice. Okay, what would you like to do instead? And so we're able to have those types of conversations, and he's only 5, but he knows that his brain is not him. The voice he's hearing is not his. It's just a thing that he can kind of take or leave. And once he begins to harness that power, he has much greater ability to manage his emotions and to manage those tough times when he flips his lid. So the hand model of the brain is something that I would encourage you to use if your child is exhibiting behaviors that are coming from a place of emotional upheaval. Giving them some kind of language to express and giving them some way to understand their inner world in a way that gives them power over it is, for me, the key to helping any child, and particularly traumatized children, to be able to navigate their world in a way that makes them feel safe and makes them feel like they're in control. I hope that helps answer the question.